TLC Timbo. Is everyone in charge of PR at Scientology, aka the Office of Special Affairs, ignorant of the reverse effect when they bash former members? To name just a few, Tori Magoo Chrisman, Jason Begay, and Karen De La Carriere, and the more recent attacks aimed at Mike Rinder, Leah Remini, Ron Miscavige, and yourself. You all have an average of 30 years of participation. The Church of Scientology, in its infinite wisdom, has decided to label all of you as losers, immoral, selfish, criminal, the slime of the earth, and so on and so on. I extract and interpret from this practice that 30 years of participation in reaching the highest levels in the various member areas of the organization, along with studying the scriptures/tech, has been ineffective, and therefore Scientology simply does not work. It seems like they are testifying to the failure of their own system and structure. Another foot bullet? Is this their admission, or am I getting it wrong? I would love to hear you elaborate on this topic. Okay, good question. A couple things on this. One, there is the idea in Scientology that when somebody leaves and becomes a critic or becomes, very outspoken against Scientology, that person was always bad and evil to the core, but Scientology just missed it. And that doesn't, and to them, the way they translate that is, in their heads, is that they didn't miss. The person was so sneaky and lying and underhanded and crafty about their deception over all those years that they managed to keep themselves from being found out about. Okay, that's point one. And point two is they are completely unaware of how things in the real world work. Like I just mentioned in my last answer, they're in a bubble world. And that includes the people in the Office of Special Affairs. They have lost touch with reality, obviously. I mean, this is a fairly, it's a pretty harsh statement to make, but it's true. They are out of touch. And they don't have a close connection with the outside world because of that bubble filter system that goes into place. So they don't get that when they are putting out these harsh criticisms against the critics, that they're creating the effect that you're talking about, where people look at that and go, well, then clearly Scientology doesn't work, and these people are a bunch of morons. They're tone deaf to that. And the thing is that they're putting out that criticism and those web pages and the hate sites and that sort of thing, the Who is Leah Remini and Mike Rinder and all those things, those are made not for you. They're made for Scientologists. So here's how this works, right? In the world of Scientology, if Joe Scientologist, is watching, perusing the channels one day and Leah Remini's show comes on, he goes, oh my God, what's this? Scientology in the Aftermath. What? Right? And he sees, Ron Miscavige Sr. or me or Mike or whoever talking about, I was physically abused and it's destructive and my family was ripped apart. They go, damn. That doesn't sound good, right? They kind of look at that and go, oh my God. They'll go into their church and they'll talk to the ethics officer, right? They'll go and that's who they're going to wind up in front of. And the ethics officer is going to go, oh, you saw Leah Remini's show because you were just channel surfing. Okay, got it. No, you're not in trouble, but let me show you some things that you don't know about those people. And they'll just pull it up right there and right in front of the guy. They'll say, here's the link. And they'll just show the guy the website, the hate site against that person. Or they will pull out a pack, a whole binder of information the church has compiled about me, Mike Rinder, Tori, Karen, etc., showing all these horrible, awful things that we have said and done, right? And convincing the Scientologist that we're just evil and always have been, right? So it goes back to that first point. Right? It's not that Scientology doesn't work, it's that we are so crafty and evil and horrible that Scientology could never work on us, right? Because Hubbard has various things to say about criminals. And one of the things he said, for example, is that e-meter that they use doesn't work on criminals, right? Criminals can beat it, right? So, and criminals don't get gains in Scientology. Hubbard says that, right? Hubbard's taking care of all of this stuff. It's a very closed system of logic, and it's very circular, right? Scientology works 100% of the time on every single person it's ever used on, except criminals, because Scientology can't work on criminals because criminals prevent Scientology from working on them, right? So it all goes back to the criminal, right? It's not Scientology. So it's this whole, closed system of thought, and that's how that works.